Hey folks, Aaron here. Welcome to day one of the 12 days of anime. I hope you guys enjoy the series that I'm gonna work as hard as I can on. As many of you know, I'm very busy with a lot of stuff, so unfortunately, it's pretty hard for me to do these videos. But these are series. This is a video series I've actually wanted to do for quite some time. If that's the best way I can put it. It's not per se just because it's 12 days of anime. You know, I wanted to do this again because last year I did it and I had a lot of success with it. Not in terms of views and stuff, but just a lot of comments and people really liked it. So I really want to do it again for a second year. But more so, this series that I'm going to be giving you, it's going to be 12 videos, obviously. 10 videos are dedicated to stuff from my past in terms of anime. How anime shaped me in various ways and how it's kind of like a recollection of things that's happened in my life and kind of a thing that I could think back on a lot of thoughts of my older days with anime and how I'm here because of it in terms of, you know, just who I am as a person and what influence it has had on me as I grew up. But what's really cool is that I wanted to share that with you guys. I know some of you guys may have heard some of these stories before. A lot of you may not have. I'm going to try to make sure that some of the stories are familiar tales if you follow my channel and if you've seen a lot of my older videos. But some of them will be stories that I promise you've never heard before. And I will make sure to give you guys those videos too, of course. On the last 2 days of the 12 days of anime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be making a best of 2018 and a worst of 2018. Because I know a lot of you loved that. That was one of the highlights of last year's 12 days of anime. I forgot exactly what I did for 12 days of anime last year. But I want to have, I think it was like 12 different reviews that for various shows and stuff like that. But, you know, I want to have it where these two shows, you know, they're the ones that I kind of end the 12 days on. Because even if it's not a per se recollection series or if it's not something that I can go back to and it's from my past, it's still something that, you know, I think back to this year and how the year wrapped up and some of the best stuff I saw and the worst things I saw. And because there was definitely some great shows and there was also some terrible, god-awful shows that I saw. So, you know, it's going to be some of those shows, one of those videos that, you know, I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you enjoy this whole video series. I really will try my best with it. And I'm going to get you guys out these videos as soon as possible. If you notice, I might be wearing the same shirt a few times because I'm going to record multiple videos in one day usually. So it's not going to be where every day you're going to see me in a different attire. I do apologize for that. But, you know, it's just how it is because I want to make sure that I can get these videos out to you when I can. Anyways, we're going to start off with day one being, I want to say what series got me into anime. Now, some of you might have heard this story before, others might not have, but I grew up with anime in terms of I watched the classics. I watched stuff like Pokemon, of course, obviously. I saw Dragon Ball Z. I saw Speed Racer with my dad because my dad was always getting me into older stuff. He got me into Gigantor, Voltron, etc. And, you know, I got a lot of love from anime. I really did. But the thing was that I wasn't sold on anime. And I tell people this because they're like, well, you grew up with a lot of anime, so you watch a lot. And I'm still watching anime, even at the age of 28 years old. I still love anime. I still watch it. And I always like to hear some people that go, oh, you know, I've seen so much anime. It's like, you've seen a lot of the newer stuff, but have you seen the old classics? I think people forget those classics exist. But regardless of that fact, you know, anime to me has always been a big staple part of my life. And it's just something that I can't see my life ever being without anime. But what really got me into anime was one particular series I rented at Blockbuster. Now, this series was, you know, something that I've talked about multiple times. I don't think it's the best series out there. It's definitely not done the best way. There's a lot of flaws with it here and there, but it's one of those shows that I just feel some reason resonates with me. It's something that it got me into anime. It really pushed me into anime where I was then like, I'm sold on anime. This is my new thing. I love anime forever now. It's like, you know, Pokemon, yeah, it's great. It was great. Digimon's awesome, but this is true anime. And for me, that would be these two series, which is technically the one. So it'd be the Guyver series, the OVA series. This is Guyver. This is the first. Actually, this is the second one I'm holding. This is the first one right here. And the thing is, it's 12 episodes. It was an OVA series. Technically, it was never considered a real series, which is very strange to me. But if you look it up, it's considered the OVA for Guyver. There is a newer one that came out in 2000s. I love that series too, but these are near and dear to my heart. It's probably one of my two favorite anime series that are usually the back of my shelf, but they're always on prominent display. Like you could see them. That's like the first thing you see is like the Guyver series because it's just a series like that I love. It really is. It's one of those series that no, it's not great, it's not perfect, but I grew up with it. And I remember Blockbuster. I went to Blockbuster, which is really close to my house. Many of you guys have heard this story, so I'm not going to go into full detail. But I lived about like maybe 3 minutes away, car distance, and maybe like 5 or 10 by walking distance to a nearby Blockbuster, which was around back then. I went to the Blockbuster. I asked about anime, and this guy's like, "Oh, we got this newer series in stock. You might like it." You know, he was a little worried because I was younger at the time. So he went to my parents. He goes, "It's a mature series. You know, it's got blood, violence, gore, etc. So you guys okay with it?" My dad and mom, I think it was my dad there particularly, was saying, "Yeah, no, he's fine. He's watched stuff with blood already and stuff like that." So, and I was a younger kid, but I was a mature kid when I was younger. Um, and they had on the shelf Guyver, the first one. It was VHS. If you guys don't remember VHS, there was those giant brick tapes. But I put it into the VCR when I got home. I watched it and I was just floored with how awesome it was. It was one of those series that it makes me smile thinking about because I can rewatch Guyver. I've seen it maybe out of all the anime I've ever seen in my life. I've seen it probably the most, and I've sat down and rewatched this 12-episode OVA series because it's just one of those shows that it never gets old to me. I always continuously love it. But I watched the first one on VHS tape, and I remember it was maybe not even a couple days later. I went back to Blockbuster by myself, and the guy told me he couldn't let me see the next one because I was too young, obviously, so I needed my parents' permission. I remember I waited till my mom got home. She just got home from British Airways at the time. She got home early, and I was like, "Mom, bring me please to the store. I need a Blockbuster. I need to rent this series." And she was worried because she didn't know what it was. She talked to my dad later on about it. This was before the time of phones, so she couldn't just call him up real fast and be like, "Oh, she had to wait till later to tell him, hey, is it okay he's watching this?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, let him watch the first one." But I saw the second one and I was like, "Oh my god, this series is amazing. I loved it. It was just." Once it ended, I was so sad. I actually, I kid you not, guys, I cried when I was younger. Because in this part, many of you may not know, but when I watched the first one, I cried because I was just so devastated there was no more. I wanted more, and I couldn't get any more. So I went everywhere to look for more of this series because back then we didn't have the internet like everywhere. You couldn't just Google up, "Oh, Guyver, is there more than 12 episodes?" You couldn't do that back then. That shows how old this series was for me. But the thing was is that I remember specifically trying to look at every store I went to, every movie store, everywhere that sold movies, and these people did not know what the hell Guyver was. They were like, "MacGyver?" They always used to say MacGyver. It used to piss the crap out of me. But yes, I say piss the crap out because legit, like, I used to get so upset and annoyed every time I used to go to the store and always have them say MacGyver. We have that series. And it's like, no, Guyver. It's an anime. Oh, we never heard of that. And it's like, oh, you killed me. I remember, I think there was one time when my parents called this one store and they said they had it in stock, and lo and behold, it was not the anime. It was actually the movie with if you guys remember, there was a movie of Mark Hamill called Guyver. It was very cheesy live action version of Guyver. If you've never seen it, it's not horrible. I just don't think it's that great. The better one is Guyver 2 Dark Hero, which I do have on my shelf over there, but I didn't take it down and high thought of showing it to you guys. But that's the one with David Hayter, who you guys might know as Solid Snake. He does the voice of Solid Snake. But that was a great one. That movie was awesome. It was darker. It was just way better action sequences. The choreography was a lot better. Everything about it was just stronger. In terms of live action, I still don't think it's better than the anime series, but whatever. But, Guyver was something that it's something that still resonates with me to this day, that I have such an intense love for it. It's like I said, it's not a great series. Like, the story is, if you think about it, it has a lot of tropes that you see in a lot of anime. It's not something that will break the records of best anime series ever produced. It wasn't, I think, a super huge franchise. I mean, it's had a lot of delays. It's had a lot of hiatuses. I remember, I think it was at one point canceled technically, and then they brought it back to life, and it was on a new publisher, and even the manga. And I'm talking about more of the manga series now, but it had a lot of hiccups in it. And it's still technically not done. Like, it's been worked on for years, but it's never been completed. So it's a kind of unfinished series. There's a lot of hearsay with who's still doing it. There's a lot of saying that it still updates, but I've never really seen an update for it. So it's like, it's one of those series that I feel like will never be complete, unfortunately. In my time, it'll probably be where I die. It'll be still ongoing, or either be at that time just permanent hiatus, whatever. But, it's something that I still remember just wanted to keep watching Guyver when I was a kid, and it made me really seek out a lot of different anime shows. It made me want to go and find other shows that were like it. So I used to go and just constantly go to places that sold anime of any form, because anime, there are a lot of ways to find anime nowadays. You can go to Best Buy, you can go to Walmart, you can go to Target, you can go to all these different stores, and they sell anime. They don't sell a ton of it. Like, you're not gonna find millions of anime on the shelf, but you'll find a few series. But back then, anime was very hard to find. It was probably like one of the rare series the type of genres that you would ever look for in a store. You would never find a lot of anime. You would find maybe one or two VHS tapes hidden away, and the store owners wouldn't even know they had it, or they would be like, "Oh, we got that a long time ago. We didn't even know we had that. You know, it's like $5. Here you go." I had a shit ton of VHS tapes of anime. Like, I mean, I had just, I think one of the Sonic franchises, which was anime back then. Not the cartoon one. It was like one of the anime ones. And then I had like various Digimon, Pokemon ones, Dragon Ball, etc. But I had a lot of VHS tapes because they were dirt cheap even back in the day. Like, you can go to a dollar store and find some VHS tape, and I found like several that were like $1. I remember Dragon Ball. I think it was Dragon Ball the original series. I got the whole series, like the whole VHS series, for less than, I think, $5. I went to a dollar store and they were trying to get rid of it because they could never get rid of it. So, you know, it was not hard to find. It's one of those things that it was not actually, it wasn't, it was hard to find, but it wasn't hard to find like good sales on. That's what I should say. But, you know, Guyver was what caused me to do that. It was what caused me to go and look for anime everywhere. It's why I started collecting anime. If you guys don't realize, like, everything on the back of my shelf is anime for the most part, or video games. But it's one of the few franchises and few mediums, that I just started getting into because of the Guyver series. It was something that I loved. And, you know, it's something I wanted to share with you guys, how much I love that series. That's why, for the first day of 12 Days of Anime, my first question to you guys, because I'm going to end every single video on a question. It's not going to just be about the particular topic or whatever. It's going to be about something, you know, just within the kind of realm of it, but it won't always be like, oh, what was your first anime? Because many people have answered that question to death. My first question was, what anime series really got you into anime? Now, it's not like, oh, this is my first anime. I don't want to hear the random ones. Like, everyone talks about, like, Pokemon and Digimon. I get that already. But I want to hear the anime series that, like, hooked you into anime. Like, you watched it, and it could be something later in life that you watched. You're like, okay, maybe I watched in 2005, Black Lagoon, or not Black Lagoon. Actually, Black Lagoon, I don't think it was even around that. But you get what I mean. You watched that first episode and you were like, oh my god, anime is the greatest thing in the world, and then started loving anime from there. Because most people have seen a lot of the older shows that, you know, were on TV. But I want to know the stuff that really made you get into anime. That's my question to you guys. Anyways, I will talk to you guys later at day 2 of anime, the 12 days of anime, I should say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will talk to you later. God bless you all. Have a great night, everyone. Bye-bye.